Republicans are still struggling to defend Trump's budget bill to their constituents. I want you to listen to this message from Republican Senator Joni Ernst at a rowdy town hall in Iowa this morning.
When you are arguing about illegals that are receiving Medicaid benefits, 1.4 million, 1.4, they are not eligible. So they will be coming off. So people are not, well, we all are going to die.
Well, okay. Minnesota's Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan joins us now. She's also a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
Lieutenant Governor, it is good to see you. If Republicans are looking for a unifying message, do you think we're all going to die is it?
I don't think that that's the message. And, you know, certainly at some point we all will walk on. But let me tell you, it shouldn't be Republican senators who are trying to kill us. I am just angry, and everyone should be. As someone who grew up having Medicaid as my health care, I was a kid with really severe asthma. I'm alive today because of Medicaid. This is deeply personal to so many people across this country. And I think what is most appalling is that, you know, these cuts to Medicaid are simply to pay for tax breaks for Trump and his billionaire besties. It's ridiculous. And folks, regardless of your political party affiliation, should be incensed.
You know, Lieutenant Governor, there's reporting that the budget bill would gut green investments that brought about $100 billion, that's billion with the B, to Minnesota. This is from today. It says, quote, Canada company, a maker of panels and other components of solar energy systems, said it's holding off on its decision to build a new plant in Minnesota until the fate of the tax credits is clear. There are real implications from Medicaid to jobs that come with this budget bill.
That's absolutely right. And I think, you know, what Republicans are missing in this moment is that it's not just spreadsheets and facts and, you know, figures. It's real people. Those are real jobs for Minnesotans in northern Minnesota. That's keeping food on the table. That's paying for your rent. It's paying your mortgage. All of this in exchange, you know, for folks who do not need additional dollars. They are taking money from our pockets to line their own. And let's be clear, this economy is already rigged. But to put on top of that, this, you know, big, and I'll just call it a big bad bill that is going to seriously hurt people, add additional unpredictability to businesses, both large and small, we shouldn't stand for it, and we should be doing everything possible to push back in this moment.
So, LG, I would like to serve up a combo meal for you because I think you're running for the United States Senate. So I want to share two thoughts with you. The first is a poll about how voters view the GOP budget bill adding to the national debt. 90% of Democrats are concerned about that. 83% of independents are concerned about that. But the number to circle is 78% of Republicans are concerned about the GOP budget bill adding to the national debt. You take that and you juxtapose it against what the Minnesota Star Tribune is writing about right now, particularly with respect to the impact on farmers, noting, quote, for the more than 500,000 small businesses in the state, the U.S.-initiated trade war has upended supply chains and for many sent the cost of importing Chinese goods skyrocketing. As a candidate for the U.S. Senate, having served and continuing to serve at the moment as the Lieutenant Governor of the state, how do you crystallize this, A, for your campaign in a way that you can express it with clarity to the people you hope to elect you when this election time rolls around?
Well, I'd say this. What those numbers tell me is that we have to be really clear. It's literally all of us against extremist billionaires. There are things that we might not agree on everything, but we can agree on that. These tariffs and the impact on farmers in this state, the Trump administration is just basically giving a huge middle finger to farmers all across the state. And folks that I'm talking to, they're worried, they're scared. And they know, right, that the margins for making a profit as a farmer are already hard, the unpredictability there. But when we know, as the third largest, exporter of soybeans in this state, now China is looking to Brazil. That could be permanent for folks. So as we are on this roller coaster of tariffs and unpredictability, some of these impacts could be permanent. And so we need to make sure that we're talking to folks in every place and space, farmers, small business owners, folks who just, frankly, want to just be able to take care of themselves and their families, and to just know this is deeply personal for people, and that Democrats, we're going to have their back. We're going to push back, but we're also going to tell folks what we're fighting for. We're fighting for access to health care. We're fighting to make sure that we can make additional investments in housing so we can go big, so that people can go home, that people should be able to afford their lives. And that's what we're all about. And as someone, who grew up feeling like the bottom could fall out at any moment, we need more people with that lived experience in Washington, so that the kind of wild things that folks like Joni Ernst are saying in this moment become unacceptable, because people have lived it and they are going to fight for working folks. And if people are interested in joining that fight, they can visit PeggyFlanagan.com.
One of the reasons we're always interested in talking with governors and lieutenant governors is because there are decisions that are being made right now on Capitol Hill that ultimately will show up at your doorstep. And there's not always proper recourse for executives in states to actually contend with the uncertainty that's being created by this administration by way of their tariffs and other policies, the lack of social safety net, the cuts to social safety net that we would see should this bill in almost any iteration or form actually make its way through the Senate. What recourse do you feel you have in your current position as a state executive to push back, to fight back, to fill in the gap when all of a sudden you have residents who once relied on Medicaid who can no longer?
I mean, the reality is that the state can't make up the difference. And one of the things that's so difficult about it in this moment is, as a leader, as someone in executive office, I want to be able to tell folks it's going to be okay. We can't do that right now, but we can absolutely say we are in this with you, and we will fight back, we will push back, but we also are going to make sure that we are telling the stories of real people who are impacted. I have the honor of traveling all across the state and meeting people. And one of the folks that I met was Chris and her son, Bentley. Chris is this incredible mom, and Bentley is an amazing kid who relies on Medicaid for his health care. And, I know all Chris wants to do is to be a good mom and make sure that Bentley has everything that he needs. Chris is a mama bear. I am a mama bear. I am going to fight back, but it's also, quite candidly, one of the reasons, why I am running for the U.S. Senate, to make sure that there are people in positions of decision-making power who can say, I know what this is like. I have lived this, and we need more people with that lived experience in Washington. We're going to do what we can here, but we're not going to be able to fill all the gaps. And frankly, we have to be very clear that Republicans in Congress are causing this right now. We have two amazing senators who represent us in Minnesota, and we need folks across the country to also be spreading this message that this big, bad bill that was passed by the Republican Congress, that we have to make sure that we are organizing across this country to fight back, to ensure that these devastating cuts that will come, or the fact that folks think people are disposable, it's not right, it's not okay, and we're going to do more.
Lieutenant Governor, in the moments that we have left, this administration has really waged war, if you will, on what they call DEI, which I don't know how they would describe it, but it's anybody that's not that doesn't fit Pete Hegseth's description, frankly. And one of the companies that has been caught up in the crosshairs of this because of decisions that they made is Target. Target is headquartered in your state of Minnesota. I'm just wondering, as you're out there on the campaign trail talking to folks, but also as your role as lieutenant governor, what are you saying to business leaders about this moment? Because Target, their bottom line is suffering right now. Other companies who have capitulated, whether they're companies, law firms, who capitulated to this administration's demands, they are suffering because a lot of people want to see fighters. What's your take on it?
Well, here's what I know. I know that diversity, equity, and inclusion are things that help us get good results, right? Having a diversity of lived experience, having a diversity of identity, skill sets. As a leader, I know that's good for my team. Equity is about access. Folks should have access. And inclusion is making sure, right, that people feel welcome. Those should be values that we are lifting up and not shying away from, because frankly, I think it's good business. You know, I'm a statewide elected official. I'm also the first Native American woman to be elected statewide. I think that's a good thing. You know, I'm not running to make history. I'm running to improve people's lives. But I also know that having more voices at the table who are bringing new thoughts and ideas that maybe haven't been heard before, that's good for business. It's good for our state, and it's good for our country. And I don't think we should be complying in advance. We should be standing up for those ideals.